duty to the society. So, do you remember the poem? This day relenting God hath placed within my hand a wondrous thing, and God be praised. At his command, seeking his secret deeds, with tears and toiling breath, I find thy cunning seeds, O million murdering death. I know this little thing a mirrored man will see. O death, where is thy sting, thy victory, O grief? So this is the poem penned by Ronald Ross when he found that mosquitoes are the vector for the disease malaria. Till then, nobody knows which is the vector, which one carries the malaria from one person to another person. He only found it is on mosquito. Then only we can use or control it. We can prevent because we use mosquito repellents in many forms, liquids or sprays or some paste forms. Whatever it is, it is. If we know this thing, otherwise we cannot control prevent malaria. So after dissecting the mosquitoes, its abdomen, and found the malarial parasites. Then only he wrote this poem. And for this discovery, he was awarded a medical Nobel Prize in 1902. So this is a duty to the society. That's what the scientists do. Because of that, millions of life has been saved. Otherwise, they would have died. Well-being to that is the duty to the society. As a whole research, it should be directed towards the well-being of the society. The first research. Then we move for researchers. For researchers, we have four. The first one is conflict of interest. The persons who are doing research, they should not possess conflict of interest among them or towards the research. Normally, whenever we are giving our articles to the journals, we have to tell that we do not possess competing interests. In return, we have to give. The authors declare that they don't have complete competing interests. What does we mean by that competing interest or conflict of interest? It means that researchers should minimize financial and other influences on the research and on research participants that could bias the research results. So we should minimize the financial and other influences, which means that I should not give money to the participant and say always in favor of the research, because we know there are many funding agencies like social media, everyone they have their own funding agency. uh, there are many, and if somebody gets fund from that agency and if they do the research, since they get money from that agency, they should not orient the findings towards their funding agency. So this should not be done. That's what conflict of interest. That is bias. We should not be biased. Even though we are getting money from an agency, we should not write the result in favor of them. So this is what we mean by conflict of interest. Like I have done a study in education where I want to see whether the methodology, two methods I have taken. One method is computer assisted instruction, the other method is lecture method. Which one gives more academic achievement for the learners? The learners who study through computer assisted instruction, the learners who study through the lecture method. So I have done the experiment, two groups, one group through CAI, the other group through lecture method. But at the end of the study, I got the results which favored for the lecture method. Lecture method is a more effective method than CAA in enhancing the achievement of the students. But there are many researchers which said that computer assisted instruction is more effective than lecture method. I lost my integrity. I am not truthful. I wrote the result in reverse. I got the result as lecture method is more effective, but I wrote it in a reverse manner by altering the data and said that computer assisted instruction is more effective. So I lost the honesty. So integrity is honesty and truthfulness. We should not fabricate the data results or omitting something. So that is what the integrity means. Third one, competence. So competence is a word which encompasses three things called knowledge, attitude, and skill, shortly called as KAS, knowledge, attitude, and skill. Together, the A union B union C, that center point is called competence. Suppose if you want to do a skill, suppose if you want to drive a car, we should have a little bit knowledge of the car and we should have an attitude of driving, and then we have to drive the car, which also both the thing adds to the skill. All the three put together we call competence. Suppose if you're doing it, if you're doing a skill or cooking or driving or dancing, whatever it is, which means that we know the three things: knowledge, attitude, and skill. Competence. The competence in our own profession: a doctor in medical, a lawyer in arguing a case, a chef in cooking, is called profession competence. Competence in their own profession, in their own profession. So researchers should engage only in the work that they are qualified to perform. Otherwise, we should not perform. So I am a student of education. I have to do research in education. I should not do a research in medicine or bioscience for that matter. I cannot do it. Even in that Hippocratic Oath, there is a word that if I know only, I will do that. Otherwise, I will not touch it. The concept includes how research chooses research methods, statistical methods, sample sizes, and that are appropriate and would not cause misleading results. This is what the professional competence means, and also it means, suppose if a drug is being if you want to recently for COVID, no, we have found vaccination many way, Covaxin, Covishield, so many things have come across the globe. So in human history, this is the shortest time in which the vaccine has been produced. So in December or so, in Wuhan province of China, this COVID-19 has reported. Slowly, it passed across the world. It had spread across the world. But within a year or so, we had vaccines, and now it has been given to almost many of them or half of the population. Okay. So if some case, if the drug is which is enough, if animal exploitation okay with that, we can stop. If we human trials are not ready, then we need not do it. In that case, in Tuskegee syphilis study, they have taken only the Negro people. They have not taken the white people. Here it's not fair. If we want to test it, we have to test for all section for not for a particular section of people. We have to test for across the population. Scientific, whether our research possesses scientific validity. Each subject has its own validity. The sciences, physics, chemistry has its own validity. Even in education, psychology has possesses its own validity. But we have to ensure that whether our research possesses that validity. This all gives the professional competence to the researcher. We are in the fourth. Three we have seen. So conflict of interest, integrity, professional competence we have seen. The last one we are going to see. Here I am going to introduce this person, Dr. Irwin Scans. Irwin Scans is the whistleblower. He is the doctor in the Tuskegee syphilis study, and he does not like that, and he told the world that this thing is happening in Alabama, in the place Tuskegee, and therefore after that only many people got no, and finally the study was stopped, because this was because of him only, because he possessed what is called as professional discipline. Professional discipline means we are applying the ethics towards the research. Researchers should engage in the ethical research and help other researchers engage in ethical research by promulgating ethical behaviors through practice, publishing, and communicating, mentoring, and teaching, and other activities. Since he applied research ethics, he told to the entire world, because of which that Tuskegee syphilis study came to a halt in 1972, and in 1997, President Bill Clinton apologized to the world, and President Obama also apologized to the world, and some compensation has been given to those subjects. So the four things we have seen for researchers: conflict of interest, integrity, professional competence, and professional discipline. Now we move for the researchers. Before that, a small thing. So whenever we do a research, we have to get the approval. This is what the approval got for my study, the Human Ethics Subcommittee of the university which I work. Normally, now in India, the committee has been started in many of the universities. Even though we don't do as like life sciences, we don't do as like bio or medicinal. Those things are not there, but we do get permission from the research ethics committee. Now this is for the researchers subjects. We start for the subjects, and first is informed consent. So we have to get a written permission from the subjects that he is willing to participate in the study. So you can see I am giving consent to voluntarily to participate in the research product. I am informed that the study knowledge and attitude towards COVID-19 among higher education students in India is an educational study, and the data will be used for research purpose only. I agree, and I'll give my full permission to use any data or results that arise from this study, provided such a use is only for scientific purposes. I am also informed that all my responses will be kept confidential and will not be disclosed to any point of time. If they give yes, we will take the data for the study. If they give no, we won't take the data for the study. This is the consent form, written consent form. So all the research, the meaning, all the research participants must voluntarily agree to participate in research without pressure from financial gain or other correction, and their agreement must include an undertaking in research. So it's a must to get informed consent from the from the subjects. It means that a written permission should be obtained, and this all of us know. It is a Pegasus software of Israel. This will not get consent from us. Just if it comes to an owner, it will take all the data and gives to its owner. This just for a thing I am saying. But anyway, for military or from some secret, it is also allowed by law. But the thing is, from a normal person, this may not be applying. The second one for participant is beneficence. So on May 14, 1796, using matter from Sarah Lamb's lesions, he inoculated an 8-year-old boy, James Pepys. Subsequently, the boy developed mild fever and discomfort in the axillae. 9 days after the procedure, he felt cold and had lost his appetite. But on the next day, he was much better. Who is he? He is none other than Edward Jenner, and he treated smallpox by the first vaccination in the modern science. So the vaccination or inoculation was maybe traditionally it was there, but by the Western science, it was Edward Jenner who introduced vaccination scientifically. So that was the treatment for smallpox, and through which he did beneficence to the subjects. That is what whether we have to analyze the risk and benefit ratio. The benefit has to be more, the risk has to be less. That is what beneficence. Researchers should have the welfare of the research participant in mind as a goal and strive for the benefits of the research to outweigh the risk. Non-discrimination. So previously we said the same study, this one, the Tuskegee syphilis study, where only blacks are the participant. But the results of this study is applicable to all, whether white or black, red or yellow, whatever it is applicable to all. But why not? The participants also should come from all those groups. But it was done on a specific group, and we have seen about many things about Tuskegee syphilis study. This is a discrimination, taking one group for the study. You have to take across all groups, all ethnics. That will be non-discrimination. Should not aim the benefit of research on a specific group. Non-exploitation. So in 2016, US president election has happened, in which they have a big data analysis has happened by Cambridge Analytica. It has taken 50 million Facebook profiles of US. They are potential voters. They have studied the attitude behaviors of those 50 million US voters, and they have arranged the dislikes and dislikes, and the responses are created according to it, which polarize the voters to vote for a particular candidate. And this is what the exploitation of the data by the Facebook and also Cambridge Analytica. So this was the exploitation. We should not do like that. The data cannot be done like that without knowing the consent. The data has been analyzed and it promulgated a candidate for a president. The meaning is researchers should not exploit or take an unfair advantage of the research participants. The last one is privacy and confidentiality. Privacy means research must have the right to control access to their personal information and to their bodies in collection of biological specimens. Participants may control how others see, touch, or obtain them. So even for entering in a room, no, from the childhood onwards, we will say, "May I come in?" Like that, we will ask. Then only we'll enter into. That is the privacy. So the participant has a right to control those access, their information, and their anything their bodily fluids they are giving for research, all those things. And confidentiality is maintaining data. Researcher will protect the private information provided by the participant from release. Confidential is the extension of concept of privacy. It refers to the participant's understanding of and agreement to the ways of identifiable information will be stored and stored. See, even for COVID, no, we have got vaccination, and for this vaccination, human trials has happened, but we do not know the names because the researchers will not reveal the names of the subjects. So that is the confidential. They will be in the so there will be a subject, and because of them only this Covaxin, Covishield, many things has come. But the researcher should not reveal their names, all those things in public. That is a confidential. Okay. The last five is for the subjects, and totally 10 research ethics we have seen, which can be put under three categories due to the society under ethical scientific survey, conflict of interest, integrity, professional competence, professional discipline under for the researcher, informed consent, beneficence, non-discrimination, non-exploitation, privacy and confidentiality for the participants. So dear viewers, so hereafter whenever you are doing a research, you can see all these uh, 10 ethical principles before you take a research. All the best. Thank you.